Hey everybody, welcome back. Here we are with Disturbed 10,000 Fists in the Air. Disturbed sums up everything I hate about the metal community. I don't know how much whining and crying and bitching I have heard that Disturbed's not a metal band. Disturbed's not a metal. Disturbed's heavy metal, okay? Definitely heavy. And I'm like this album is. This is one hell of a heavy album. Honestly, it is. From beginning to end, it's heavy the whole way through. There's a couple lighter tunes on there, no big deal. But even then, it's still got a heaviness to it, man. And I know they get lumped into the new metal thing, and that's okay. It makes sense. But they got a real dark heaviness to them, man, that I really dig. Really, really dig. It's kind of like, Danzig or the not Misfits, Type O Negative. There's some other bands in there too, man. I just get that real dark. I just recently did Kiss Carnival of Souls. Same idea. There's just a certain really thick, dark heaviness that's just awesome. Great type of metal. It's about the riffs. It's about letting the music breathe a little. It's not about, 5 million tons of shredding on, the same pentatonic riffs or whatever. Okay. Let's get into the actual music now that I've done my rant there. Okay. So 10,000 Fists in the Air, the title track opens up the album. Great way to open up the album. Good song. Really has the right momentum, the right way to open up an album. And the best part is, they were smart about this one. They put what is a legitimate single at the front of the album, so they could release it at least as a music video if they like, but they didn't have to release it as an actual single. They could just release the album and say, play track one. No harm, no foul. Even though at this point, digital music was a thing, so, who knows? All right. Now, I'm going to say that when it comes to this album, there are 14 tracks on this album. I think that's too much. I really was putting a lot of thought into this, and I think the album should be cut down to 11 tracks. It's one of those ones where the other 3 tracks should have been released later as bonuses or whatnot. So after 10,000 Fists in the Air, we get to Just Stop, which I thought was a really good heavy way to continue going. Then you got Guarded. Guarded is the first song where I kind of go, on the album. And when I go say, I mean, it's a very solid album cut track. But it's not a song that overly does anything for me. Deify, I really enjoyed. I had a great, real heavy kind of thing. One thing I do like about Disturbed is they don't have an over-reliance on the double bass drum. They do use it a little more than I like. Deify use an example, that's why I bring it up. They use the double bass drum, but they don't use it the entire song long. They don't use it like power metal bands do, or the symphonic metal or the operatic metal, it's just nonstop with the double bass drum. I really like the way that they use it. However, Deify You, I think, uses the double bass a little too much on it. Otherwise, though, great tune. Really is a good tune. Stricken was a decent tune while listening to it as well. I'm Alive. Also, heavier tunes still, But this is the thing is, Stricken and I'm Alive, both really good listening to it. Album cuts. When I'm not listening to it, I don't think about them as much. Although I believe I'm Alive, I think I may have heard on the radio. I'm not 100% sure. Sons of Plunder, I thought was really decent and enjoyable tune. Overburden. This one I really kind of caught me off guard and shows quite a bit of diversity. This one to me had a very Tool kind of vibe to it. The way that the bass and the guitar were working and intertwined with each other and kind of just got that slinking in between kind of thing that Tool does, and playing just slightly into a different time signature, and everything about it just felt kind of right and really good. Overburden is probably the one song on the album, like that's that deep cut that I really kind of get into and dig on. Decadence was a decent tune. Forgiven was a decent tune. Land of Confusion, great cover. Oh my god, fantastic cover. Disturbed really does do good covers. And I gotta say, if I'm going to use Disturbed and compare them to one of their contemporaries, Five Finger Death Punch, who I've also heard do a couple good covers, um, Disturbed regularly releases good tunes on top of good covers, whereas Five Finger Death Punch, I really enjoy the covers, but the tunes themselves I've tried and I just, not bad, but doesn't get me. After Land of Confusion, and for those of you that don't know, Land of Confusion, that is a Genesis cover. I really enjoyed the original Genesis version as well. And I was a fan of the Genesis versions. So when I heard this one, I went, whoa, it's a pretty good cover. My buddy Sean, I've mentioned him once or twice in past reviews. He likes to do Genesis at karaoke, and I told him he's got to do Land of Confusion, but he really should do the Disturbed version of it. And he busted out, and it works. He does it very well. It's really cool. I really enjoy both versions of it, but man, this version's really, really good. Got great heaviness to it. I love. After that, we get Sacred Lie. It's all right. Pain Redefined. This should have been a B-side to a single. Absolutely. This is one of those weird, odd tracks that on the album does not work for me, but I think as a B-side would have been great. Avarice, which finishes off the album okay, I guess. So realistically, okay, so Pain Redefined, like I said, that one right there, I would take off. That should have been a B-side to one of the singles. No ifs, ands, or buts. I think it would have been one of those really cool songs that way, but the way it is on here, it doesn't work for me as much. It kind of has this weird jangle vibe that it kind of does to the album with the way it hits in there. Outside of that, Sacred Lie, I think, could have been left off. I think Land of Confusion should have been the close to the album. Or 10,000 Fists in the Air. One or the other should have been the close to the album. And then I'd probably take out the last three songs, really. Take out Sacred Lie, Avarice, and like I said, make Pain Redefined a B-side. That's how I would have done this album, because it just, to me, it feels like it goes on a little too long. It's a little too much of the same. I really do like the vocal style on here. I do not know the name of a single member of this band. Let's see here. David Draymond. I like his vocal style. It's really kind of cool how he does the kind of the staccato breaky up kind of, and then he kind of starts holding down the notes, and then by the time he gets to the choruses, he's like just really like hitting these notes and just holding them out like extended periods and whatnot. It's really good. On every song, it gets a little bit, but I don't mind it. And it's not on every song, which is the nice part. The riffs, realistically, I love the riffs. The guitar work versus the bass work, neither one overly stand out most of the time. They work really well interchanged with each other. Not like the guitar lines, there's no solos that make me go, ooh, stand up and go, whoa. Um, like I said, the one song, Overburdened, that's the one that makes me go, ooh, yeah, that's fucking sexy sounding. Um, but I really do enjoy that. So what is it? Dan Dungan and John Moyer. I do have a question. Why is John Moyer's name so much smaller than everybody else's? Was he just a session musician for this album? Was he a new guy or something? Did he quit after this? I don't know. If you know the story of why John Moyer's name is so small in this, let me know. And then on drums, you got Mike Wengren. And the drumming, I really enjoy the drumming. It definitely, I think one of the reasons I enjoy the drumming so much is because the fact that the vocals are going off the drums. In multiple variations of bands I've played in over the years, I've done the drums and the vocals at the same time. And you can always tell when the vocals are being based off the drum line, when the vocals are kind of being based off the rhythm, the bass line, specifically when the rhythm or the vocals are being based off of the guitar line. If it's just going with the general rhythm, if it's not following the rhythm at all, and they're just kind of going in there in the spots, you can always tell that, especially when you've been the lyricist slash vocalist in a band, and you play different instruments. Like when I play drums and I sing a song, I sing it differently from when I play bass and I sing the same song, kind of thing. So I do really like the way that the vocals will play off the drums on here, and that's really cool to me. And then you'll get a little bit where it starts shifting over and it'll start playing off the bass and that. I think it's well Disturbed. Disturbed is one of those bands where I think it's well crafted, well constructed, well put together. I think they should even maybe be bigger than they are. I think the only thing they suffer from is, like I've listened to a few albums now. This is the second one I've reviewed. There'll be another review coming. And a lot of it does sound the same, and they don't change too much. You get one or two experimental songs on the album, which is cool. But going from this to the one that I've already reviewed, which I don't remember the name of the album. It's the one that's got the Sound of Silence cover on it. And they were, like there's not a huge difference really between the albums. But, and there's another one that's going to be coming up soon as well that I'm in the middle of getting ready. I've been listening to review. And, that'll be pretty decent as well. But they all kind of do have a very similar sound. AC/DC syndrome, I've referred to it as. You go pick up one album, the rest of the albums are going to sound like. Anyways, folks, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I am interested. Disturbed is one of those bands I'm slowly getting into. I'm behind on them. I know that. But I am finding them interesting as I go. What do you think? That's what the comment section is for. Drop me a line. On your way down, like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications, please and thank you. You'll see a couple links worth checking out. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.